Maayong buntag sa tanan. Muy buenos días a todos. Well, I am originally from Zamboanga City, and it feels great to get to see you all in person. And you know what? I'm really honored to be invited to speak here this morning. So are you guys all ready for the talk today? Oh, come on, I can't hear you. Are you guys all ready for the talk today? Wow, that's the spirit. Well, you know what? Cebu is very close to my heart because before I moved to Singapore in 2011, my point of exit was from here. And nostalgic, now I'm back here as a speaker. But I just want to make myself clear that I do not consider myself as the best in the industry. I am just an ordinary person, but with extraordinary dreams. And today I'm going to be talking about my topic, which I call From Nothing to Something. It is something about me, so I'll be sharing with you 5 key takeaways. I will include as well my best practices and habits. I will be sharing with you my struggles, the challenges that I've been through, and how I overcame them, and what keeps me going forward. So it took me 6 months before I actually joined the industry. And that's where I would have my first initial rejections from 2 insurance companies until I got coded. And how it started, totally started from scratch, from ground zero, no one in national market, no family, no loved ones, no friends in Singapore. How is that possible? So right in my first few months, I joined the roadshow. And after which, I also did my own personal script perspective, like literally from hour to every single day. I used to work from 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, no rest day. And apart from it, I did my own serial perspective as well, which means I get to speak to anyone, be it inside the mall, inside the food court, inside the railway station, on the bus, or wherever. You know what? The reason why I speak to anyone is because my face is not thick, it is very thick. And that's how I've taken care of my clients and built my database. And my business is based on 100% referrals. So number one, always remove yourself limiting beliefs and activate an ego mindset. We have to remove our self-values, our excuses, because this will hinder us from achieving a certain level of success. And always activate an ego mentality, because egos are well-focused, very visionary. In fact, egos love to fly even in the midst of a storm because they will use the pressure of the storm to go even higher. So, my first year was horrible. I was like a crying baby. I was questioning myself, what am I doing here? And I wasn't taking my validation my first 2 months. And of course, I needed to give my validation on my third month, if not I would be kicked out. So luckily, I met one guy at the MRT station, and I found out he's a doctor. It took me 3 appointments before I actually closed me, and I realized the one that was rejecting me was the wife. So I met up with the wife, close the wife first, and close the husband. And after which, I would usually have set questions to get to know more about my clients after closing. So I will ask you questions like, no more when is your first wedding anniversary, what's the favorite color, what's the favorite food, and so on and so forth. And I realized they were about to celebrate their first wedding anniversary in June. So I planned a very successful anniversary week for them. So I booked one night's vacation at Marina Bay Sands. And I decorated the room with blue balloons, pink roses, I put some of their photos inside the room, and I got this couple to invite 5 of their friends, which were all doctors. So we were having fun on our lunch, and after which, at 3 p.m., we headed out to the hotel room. The moment we opened the room, we were like, wow, what is this? And they were like, someone just mentioned, my agent has been with me for 8 years, but I didn't receive any anniversary gift from you. I can tell you, right there that after the week, the next week, I met up with 3 other doctors that were their spouses, which were all doctors. And that's how I achieved my first anniversary life in my first year. And I thought my challenges were over. Because I was like a foreigner and I managed to meet my manager right in my first year. But you can hurt me, but this is not hurt my mother. My mother is a witness. And why in the second year was the hardest? Because my mother had a stroke. She was in Singapore. And thank God there was no major surgery. So I sent her back home to my hometown in Guam City. But then I promised my mother that I will look after her. I will take care of her. So it was too costly for me to book an international flight from Singapore to Manila, Manila to Zamboanga City every single month. And I had to stay for 5 days in my hometown. And I was contemplating whether I like to give up. But to me, I promised myself I need to do my second year ambulatory because I didn't want to change my ambulatory by chance. So whenever I returned back to Singapore, I worked even harder. And from 10 to 12 hours, I worked up to 14 hours in a week. And today, I'm humbled to present to you my 8th-year ambulatory journey for 8 consecutive years being a year in the industry. As you can see, a lot of people will just as the tip of an iceberg, but they won't be able to see what happened underneath. Right in my first year, I achieved my first ambulatory out of 257 cases, out of 120 lives. Imagine how many appointments did I have just to secure 120 clients. And my closing ratio at that time was just only 10%. We are talking here about hard work, sacrifices, late nights. And as you can see, my cases has fluctuated over the years. I'm a type of person whereby I will prioritize quality over quantity. In 2021, in the heat of the pandemic, I made a breakthrough. I have 833 cases where I teach my first TOT in Singapore. And not only that, I wanted more. So I broke the record in Singapore, achieving double TOT with 1,003 cases. And in September 2021, rather, in 2020, I achieved an affluent high net worth City Club, where I found my high net worth clients. So that was the year when I had the lowest case count. I only had 58 cases. And when I was new, I was one of the top 10 new financial consultants, being a foreigner in Singapore. It was only in 2016 that I did make it to the top of the company because I chose to take care of my mother, family first, over my children. And in September 2021, I felt that we need the first gold Olympic medal in the financial services industry, being the world's first Filipino to overseas to achieve TOT that is based on direct USD conversion. Thank you. So number 2, always set high goals and identify a strategy that requires a strategy. It's very important that you set high goals, which means you are really determined to succeed, personally and professionally. And the strategies comprise of your vision, your initiative, and your mission. Like, what type of client are you looking at? What type of niche market are you looking at? How do you visualize yourself 3 to 5 years, 10 to 15 years, 20 years from now? And what is your mission? Why you are here? Is it because you wanted to create an impact in the lives of many from all walks of life? You have the answer. Now, these are all my prospecting activities. So I will normally categorize my segmentize these clients from A, B, C, D, and E. E clients as blacklisted clients, just kidding. A become my VVIP clients, which means they are influential and they have an accurate capacity. So I will usually give a cross-nomination, which means if clients want to declare their beneficiaries, I will get these clients to get these 2 witnesses, so that these 2 witnesses are my potential clients as well. I will celebrate clients' birthday and get them to buy 55 prayers, so that I will meet more people. There's a part of psychology, so whenever a doctor explains that it's a minor injury, if the client is hospitalized or has an accident, the moment the client is fully recovered, I will meet again with this client and get this client to our 2 other friends just for them to share their training experience with me. I will create some sports events every quarter, and I will ask clients for testimonials through social media. This is the most powerful tool nowadays. Branding and marketing. This is how I get results. So, build relatable what's A, anyone? And they will do it, which is authentic. It's about our sincerity. Niche, desire, interest, income, what's G? There's a prize, one association for your business. To me, it's goal. So I will always tell you to the process that we have the same goal. We want to achieve financial freedom someday. And we want to do more so that we can give more. So usually after closing, I will have my own welcome package, which includes simple amounts of coffee. So try to imagine that whenever you set up, your clients will always remember you whenever you see coffee every morning. And whenever you have visitors, it's a free marketing tool already. I have also tried 24-hour rules, which is when the prospect or client will message me, I need to respond within 24 hours. If not, I give them a meal at MBS again. Unless I'm in trouble or I'm down. And I will set up birthday celebrations, anniversary, souvenirs, farm offices, get all hampers whenever my client is sick, when they're in the hospital, and do yearly policy review and tokens appreciation as well. Now, during COVID, in the middle of the pandemic, everyone was down, and we called that down for a circuit breaker. I took the initiative to pack 500 period hampers that include a mask, a sanitizer, antibacterial wet wipes, and vitamin C. I can tell you, I sent out 500 pieces to all my clients. I asked for their help, and 20% of my clients gave me testimonials in their social media accounts. And that's how I managed to receive wrong messages from strangers. So always whenever your clients do the free marketing strategies for you, that talk more about you, that talk more about your products and services and the real you, because this is how you can expand your network. And these are some of the testimonials from tokens of appreciation as well. So as you can see, they will always say good things about me, and that's where I receive one messages from strangers, even when I am asleep. So the year tokens appreciation include a calendar, my thank you note, my achievements, I will include a Starbucks card inside, and a red packet for the Chinese New Year. I've been doing this over the years, and last year I sent out to more than 1,000 clients. So normally we go out to our conferences because we can't get qualified for conventions because of our client, and I will get my own personal notes. And for those clients that I consider VVIP, I also give out movie and voucher for a VIP gold pass. And for those that I won't be able to meet in person for my VVIP, I'll just send out birthday cakes. Number 3, be intentional and genuine with part of your client's extended family. So I always position myself as I'm not only a financial advisor here, I'm part of your extended family. So that's the reason why I'm encouraging my clients to get me to be part of their important events such as wedding. In fact, there were even a couple who got me as their MC. So it's very important that I position myself as a financial doctor. We care for the clients instead of the profit. The clients will feel how sincere and genuine we are. I will always associate myself as my primary and focus is help our clients get involved in protection products, and secondarily is more involved in accumulation. Now, mind you, I'm not here to promote Nescafe. So this is for my retention purposes. And whenever I do group presentation, I will always show this. Something that we can't live without. And I will associate 3 in 1 as we need a solid base, solid foundation. So before planning for savings and investment products, we need to make sure that the clients are well covered. And always provide complete examples of Sicilian Dynamics of insurance for you. That's how you can actually excel. So I always associate that it's very tough for one person to drive a car on a long journey without having a spare car behind. So we don't want to get stuck up in the middle of nowhere. So I always associate we have 4 spare tires that I associate them as 4 spare funds. in order for the client to recover from death, individuals, illness, and early critical illness. And should there be engine breakdown, we need emergency clients as well. So I will always focus on the clients and their hospitalization plans. Now, time arrivals plays a big part of the role. Imagine you have a flight that catches at 2:40 p.m. and you need the traveling time of 40 minutes, let's say a speed limit of 60 kilometers per hour. What time is the best time for you to be proper places that should be able to catch your flight? If this is Manila, you need 7 hours, right? I'm not sure about this too. But in Singapore, Europe, it is 2 hours or 2.5 hours. But imagine if you set up at 2:20 p.m. Will you be able to catch your flight? Definitely not. So it's too late. It's about possibility insurability. Because the insurance is not meant for everyone. Insurance is meant for those who are healthy and being young that doesn't healthy. It's always give you 2 hours earlier than to be 2 minutes late. Because even a single minute can break your cash flow. Now, this is how I ask for referrals. Always ask 3 main questions. Can a person take your insurance? Yes, no.
No.
Who says yes?
Yes, actually.
Who says no? Who doesn't care? Can a person take your income?
No.
Definitely no. If you borrow $100,000, from anyone today?
No.
No. So this is the reason why I'm trying to open up the mindset and prospect, because relationships necessary needs of the crisis. And ask many questions at a scale of 1 to 10 is always presented the highest. How much you love your family? 10. How much you love yourself? 10. Alright, please give me your ID. Let's proceed with the application. How much you love your Chris? 10 is alright?
Then?
This is my referral method. Always choose your first 10 EV clients and identify your top 10%. When you manage to identify your top 10%, spend 80 to 90% of your time with them. Because they are the ones who will give you the referrals, repeat business. Because you have already established a trusting relationship with each other, and you should know how to add value to one another. Let's say, for example, when each market has a medical doctor, I have a gynae. So whenever she has patients, she will just refer the patients to me. And relatively, whenever I have clients who are pregnant, I will just refer my clients to the gynae. All be done. Now, I also create some sports events and generate referrals. It's just a recreational activity like that's where I get pulling up clients, and after which I will do group presentation. Also create a independent movement as part of your sales initiatives. And only RRs peers. So whenever I get a prospect with client, I will tell my client that you are part of my independent movement. And the clients will feel more blessed. In fact, sometimes they will increase their premiums. So I'm taking care of the old folks in Singapore who are working as janitors, as waiters. You know, country of Singapore is a very rich country, but there are still a lot of poor people. And we are talking here about the old folks who need a lot and they can't afford to retire. In fact, the oldest here is 87-year-old auntie. You know? And today, I will usually give out hamburgers and groceries that will include rice, coffee, oats, crackers, sardines every December. And today, I'm taking care of more than 300 old folks in Singapore. And of course, I will send it to the villages as well. I do have own personal charity donations where I will send out sex rights every national day. So I will send out the number of years that Singapore is celebrating, just like 2 days ago, Singapore celebrated 58th birthday. So I sent out 58 sex rights to my social charities as well. And do good without expecting anything in return. I will usually give Starbucks breakfast meal to the janitors at my place once a month. And they tell you, it's always good to do good behind the camera. Because there was one guy who saw me and he was like, wow, what is this? And he told me, I'm just doing this just as Brenda. And afterwards he asked me, where are you from? And told me, I'm with the insurance company. And he said, fantastic, I've been looking for a financial advisor to present insurance products to my company. And after that, he asked me to present his company, and I managed to close 5 ID consultants, which were my C-suite clients in this company. It's always you, because I'm sure the universe or God will always multiply your blessings in return. Number 4, establish the core of what you're fighting for. You should know why you're here. Is it because you wanted to be or to provide the best for your family? Or you wanted to create a life of meaning and significance? You should know your answer. To me, this is my greatest goal. Do you think I can do this? Right. So, just to share with you my story. I come from a simple family. If there's such a crazy Asians, I come from a crazy middle-class family. And obviously, I'm the most handsome guy, right? So, my mother used to work in a government office, while my father used to be a tricycle driver. Growing up, life was very hard. We didn't have a house. We just used to rent from one place to another. We used to stay from a relative's place until we moved to my grandparents' place. And until such time, my parents took over the remaining loan of that house, but there were no documentations. So technically, we didn't have a house. But I promised my parents one day, I'm going to work so hard and I'm going to own what I want. I'm very proud of myself that I was the one to get better at 13 years old. Because I had to be chose to. I learned to value hard work quite a very young age. I was a section warrior at the age of 14. I had thousands of emails in a day for 10 to 12 hours. And at 16, I worked as a service crew in Jollibee. And after I finished my own studies at the university, I was a working student. Until I graduated on time, although every night I would just reach home past 12 midnight to 1 a.m. and had to wake up early for the class at 7 a.m. the next day. Right after graduation, I joined the pharmaceutical industry where I had my first-hand working experience. I was doing so well, I was giving 3 products. The first product was just doing pilot baby, performing at 67%, and the other 2 products were performing 0. After that, I managed to turn these 3 products into 100%. I was a top agent in the science in Mindanao. I was one of the top agents in nationwide. I was doing okay and really thinking of working abroad or in offices. Until 2010 was the lowest point in my life. I hit rock bottom. I can tell you at one time I was about to commit suicide because I felt totally devastated. I felt meaningless and hopeless. I lost my first million as a young age of 23 because I was a victim of illegal recruitment in the United States. I was being recruited by my sister. My sister was being recruited by her professor. We had a fight in the family. I lost all my clothes, I lost all my shoes, I gave them to all my friends knowing that I would earn 500 USD every month. I lost my promotion to my company where I was about to get promoted as district manager in Cebu. And my ex-girlfriend from the university dated an American. What a coincidence, isn't it? And I lost the opportunity to study at the University of the Philippines because I wanted to become a lawyer. I felt like all my dreams were crashing to pieces. I was on the verge of jumping off from skyscraper in the Ikea Center at the Emerald Building past 2 a.m. until I told my best friend, I told him, please tell my family that I love them so much, especially my mother. I can't do this anymore. The pain was unbearable. And my best friend told me, shouted at me, told me, when you do that, you'll straight me go to hell. And I didn't want to go to hell. So to open up my eyes, and I pick myself up, my faith kept me going, I promised to myself that no matter what happens, never ever give up. So this is my straight told you that never ever give up no matter what happens. So promise to myself that I will achieve success because I will never settle for anything less. My mother was so depressed at that time and promised to me, Mother, don't worry about me. I will leave this country. I will move to another country to start anew. And that's the reason why I moved over to Singapore in 2011. And my story was horrible. If you want to write an MFA, please go ahead. So in 2011, I stayed at hostel, 8 mixed beds dormitory time. And every day, I would use this to honor to give me a discount from $10 to $8 a day. I survived eating 2 meals a day. And whenever I buy food, I had to divide it into 2 portions. so I can eat the other portion the next week. I had to cut a number of slices in a slow bread, so that this is sustaining for the next 10 to 15 days. And I would usually share that to my roommate as well, without realizing that I was so hungry. I couldn't find a job. I used up my 30 days in Singapore until I decided to extend online and find a job in the recruitment agency. But there was a placement. But luckily, I graduated placement with $6,000 overtime on an installment basis. And after which, they applied my employment pass with the Ministry of Manpower. I got the first rejection letter. Romel was not qualified. They applied again the second time. I received a rejection letter. Romel is not qualified. They applied the third time. Guess what happened? I received a rejection letter. So my employer told me, thank you for your time, go back home, but I begged them. I told them, please give me another chance. One last chance. So they decided to send my application for a review. But I have already used up my 30 days. So I needed to make an exit, a book, a passing ticket to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. When I reached the bus terminal past 3 a.m., there's this one person who approached me. He used to have a pirate taxi in the village of Kuala Lumpur. He took 2 other Japanese students, myself. He charged 200 ringgit per student. He dropped them off first, and it was just like 7 to 8 minutes drive away from the bus terminal to the hostel. He charged me 100 ringgit because I speak English. 50% discount. And I was trying to make negotiations. I had no money at the time. I told the driver I could only pay me 10 to 15 ringgit, or maybe at most 50 ringgit, because I need money to buy food. But the wife was sitting behind me. She grabbed my neck and she told me, you better pay, not my husband will kill you. And one day I saw my wife in front of my face. I was trembling and crying. I told the driver, please take everything from me. And in my head, what's happening to me? He took the money, he kicked me out of the car. I was in a very dark place at the time. I was contemplating to commit my second suicide because that pain was unbearable. And I had no sharp objects. And I felt like I was being guided by the guardian angels. I was walking in the dark place. I saw a police station. The police guided me into the hostel. And when I reached the hostel, customer service was Filipino. And this ate assisted me, accommodated me. I stayed inside the room for 2 days because I was traumatized. And when I get back to Singapore, I had no money. I only had $7 in my bank account. How to survive on $2 every day. This is about 60 pesos every day. And I have this fighting spirit. I told one of my friends, I asked him, please allow me to stay at your uncle's place. I could sleep on the floor, I could do everything. Clean the house, cook for you, do the laundry. I could act as a domestic helper. And perhaps I was the first male Filipino domestic helper in Singapore at the time. I survived for 2 weeks. Until I received a call from my pharmaceutical company in the Philippines asking me to go back home. They booked a ticket from Singapore to Manila, only to find out that they are going to give me an offer back from zero. And I was contemplating whether or not to accept the offer. And on the third day, I received a call from my employer in Singapore that my pass has been approved. So I went to stay in Singapore. So I went back to Singapore. My employer gave me a position as an assistant operations manager in a small cafe. And I thought that was my exact position. But then I had to do a janitorial job. I had to clean the toilet, wash only the kitchen utensils, throw the carpets every night, and I used to cry every night. I kept this inside of me. I didn't tell anyone to my family because I know they would just ask me to go back home. But I survived. And that's where I decided to join the insurance industry. So what's my dream? I got my ABC. And this is ambitious, beliefs, and competencies. So always uncover and list your ABCs. And I tell you, when I was new, I had my dream board. And tell you, 95% of my dream board, I had already realized it. So my dream is, you can do it too. And I was here at 33. And I am being only 31, and who would have thought the numbers was getting 13? And it's quite costly, about 3 times the price in the Philippines. But I got this not from my own pocket, but from the profits that I made. Because I made multiple investments over the years. I promised my parents that I would own more than one house, and I invested into 8 properties in Metro Manila. And I also have a base in Singapore. I was a designer for the renovation. And I provided a new home for my family in Manila, a landed house with 6 bedrooms. And for a personal private with brand new Toyota Fortune Honor, I gave for my dad's 68th birthday. Investing in agriculture, this company of me, the farmers will get enriched and we can eat rice every day. I invested in education. It took me more than 1 year before I got into Harvard. Because in 2018, I was contemplating of going to corporate because I wanted to become a CEO. But I will definitely finish my master's degree because I want to become a group author and be part of the New York bestseller author someday. Before I joined the industry, we traveled 14 places. Right after teaching here, I traveled to 100 plus places across 60 continents. Next year, I was going to South Africa. I have my proposal in Paris, where I get it. And mine is traveling style, and also learn to differentiate different airlines. I'm an CEO says it planes for as well. And I honor my parents, and my success is theirs too. I think that it's right that my heart is all one of the wheelchair. And I thought my mother said, thank you, mommy, and love you so much. Thank you for believing in me. And look at this video.
This is Tiffany. I'm grateful for all the challenges of helping me build and be someone who can shed light of hope and inspiration to everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting you your top financial consultant of the year, Ramel Rivera.
But behind this glitz and glory, I wanted to become a philanthropist someday. So I will always allocate certain budget in order for me to help those people who are in need, especially for relatives and loved ones. So always embrace failures, accept challenges, and conquer your fears. You know, I have been through a lot. I have embraced all my challenges, all the adversities in life, and took them as real blessings in disguise. And conquer your fears, underneath your fears, lie great opportunities. And look at this video. So this was the put on YouTube. You know what? I have fear of heights, but I mentally commanded myself to just do it. Sometimes we feel that it looks very scary on the first sight, but we need to make a conscious decision to just do it. And I attended my first UTM meeting in Santa Barbara, California last year. And I'm inviting everyone to raise the bar and attend the new meeting with me next year. And again, look at this video. As you can see, my days were moving because I was praying, God, this is really another life. Because one out of 100,000 across the globe, they will usually fall onto the ground because the prayers is issues. But as you can see, I was just enjoying that person, quiet versus all the frustrating trials that I have experienced in my life. And I'm very thankful to the person that has come today. Now I can see a large platform in order for me to inspire the people of the world. As you can see, I was just enjoying and no more fear anymore. I used to have moments of sickness There you go. Who wants to do a bungee jump skydive? Alright, so conquer your fears. And Q4 2021, my mother was fighting for her life due to COVID. In Q4 2022, I was done because I experienced excessive burning and blood bulging, and my tummy would get enlarged all day and night until the day properly. I had sleepless nights, but then I decided to show up every day because I was fighting for something else. I decided to show up every day all for the love of my clients and out of my commitment to finish what I started. And in 2022, I emerged top one in 6 major categories of the company. I achieved the Star Award of the Asia Pacific Financial Services Award with the First Philippine Award. In 2023, I emerged top one in 7 major categories. And I achieved the highest accolade with the Pinnacle Award of the Asia Pacific Financial Services Award. Thank you. Whenever you feel proud, remember how far you have come. Since it's not about how many times you fall down, but it's about how many times you learn to pick yourself up and just keep going. Know that the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. All you need is a spark with a flame. And I am here to give you the spark. So keep your fire burning in you, because you are resilient. You are unstoppable. And always remember that it takes a strong willpower to